Do you sometimes find yourself taking on other people's stuff, letting their baggage affect your well-being? Or maybe you have a tendency towards people-pleasing, doing too much for others or saying yes when you really want to say no, or trying to solve all of their problems for them. Or maybe you sometimes feel guilty for things that aren't really your fault. Or you spend a lot of time trying to figure out what to say or do to get other people to feel a certain way. If so, then pay attention. You're going to love what I'm about to share with you. The 4 powers is an incredibly useful concept and tool for getting clarity about your own personal boundaries and to be able to maintain them. It's based on the idea that each one of us has 4 key powers that we're responsible for, and only 4. These are the 4 and only 4 things that we have control over. So what are they? First, your words. Your words are your choice. They come from you. No one can force you to say anything. Sure, they may insist or demand you say something, but ultimately your words come out of your mouth and you have control over what you say or don't say. That seems fairly straightforward, right? Second, your actions. In the same way, you have control over and are responsible for the things that you do. We all choose our behaviors and our actions. And we know this because we teach our children the same thing. Sometimes if my son's just gotten in trouble for something, he'll say, "Oh, but Johnny made me do it." And then we have to have a conversation about how you don't have to do what Johnny says and about how you're responsible for your actions. So sure, sometimes we may feel that we're being influenced by others or by things around us, but at the end of the day, I'm responsible for the decisions that I make about my actions. No one else does them, I do. And I have control over that. So these 2 powers are what we call our external powers because they're about how we interact with the world around us. The next 2 powers are our internal powers. They're about how we interact with ourselves. The third power is your thoughts. In just the same way, I have power over and control of my thoughts. Now I know sometimes it can feel like a thought just pops into your head out of nowhere. I get that. But it's still your thought. No one else put it there. It's your mind or your brain, if you like, having that thought. And just like the other powers, some stimuli, something outside of you may influence your thoughts, sure. It may prompt an idea, but you have the ability to control your thought patterns. So for example, if you have a song playing over and over in your head, it can feel like your thoughts are out of your control. I just can't get this tune to stop playing. But in fact, there are things you can do to take that control back. Do you know the trick to getting a song out of your head? You have to start singing a different song. I promise you it works. And it's the same principle with any thought. If your thoughts are unhelpful, practice replacing them with another, more helpful thought. This is actually the basis of cognitive behavioral therapy, by the way. Nevertheless, your thoughts are one of your 4 powers and you can control them. Finally, the 4th power, your feelings. Now this one can be difficult for some people to accept because we're so used to blaming others for our feelings. Again, to use the example of children, kids have a tendency to do this. They say, "He made me angry," or "She made me sad." And what do we teach kids? Well, we help them to understand that Johnny may have said something nasty, but you don't have to get mad in response. That instead of getting upset, you can take a deep breath and stay calm, and that you choose how you'll feel about it. For example, instead of getting mad, you could feel sorry for Johnny that he doesn't know how to play nicely yet, because he's only a kid after all. And we teach them that we don't have to take it to heart what Johnny said. Do you remember the saying, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me"? It was a good saying because it teaches kids how to take control of their own emotions, that no one else can hurt you unless you choose to be hurt. So this is a really important lesson for children, and one that we adults too sometimes need to remind ourselves of, because it can be easier said than done, obviously. Yes, sometimes we may find ourselves interacting with someone and the things that they say or do can make our blood boil. We may find ourselves having a really strong reaction. We may feel upset or offended or any other feeling. But we too need to remind ourselves that I'm in charge of my emotions. This person may be doing or saying some things that I don't agree with, but it's up to me to choose how I would like to feel in response. I can feel confident. I can feel generous, I can feel humorous, even have a chuckle about it. Or I can feel compassion for the person and their life experiences. It's up to me. So take a breath, get back in control of myself and my emotions. In psychology, this is what we call emotional regulation, and it's a skill for all of us to learn and to practice. So there we have our 4 powers, the 4 things that we can control, the 4 things that are within our responsibility. And here's the kicker. The other person also has these 4 powers for themselves. Their 4 powers are within their sphere of control. I may be able to influence others, to guide them or persuade them, but ultimately I'm not responsible for, nor can I change what someone else says, does, thinks or feels. I mean, have you ever tried cheering up someone who is determined to be miserable? I don't have to tell you, it's just not possible. So keeping this idea of 4 powers in the forefront of your mind is incredibly useful to help maintain your personal and professional boundaries and not take things so personally when others around us behave in less than ideal ways. We need to focus on what we are in control of and responsible for and let go of those things that are not our job, not our responsibility. I promise you, you'll be more peaceful, more powerful, and more resilient for it. Hi, I'm Emmy Golding, Director of Psychology for the Workplace Mental Health Institute. We hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to give it the thumbs up. We have more and more videos being released each week, so when you subscribe, you'll get a notification letting you know when a new one's just been published. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and don't miss out on this vital information for yourself, your colleagues, and your loved ones.